Are the Big 12 and Pac-12 set for a year of chaos?
Woo! Yep. They sure are. And I mean like chaos with a capital C. Chaos. I mean, these two conferences, folks, they are going to beat themselves to a pulp. In particular, the Big 12. Let me start, though, with the Pac-12. All right, when I'm looking at the Pac-12, it's pretty easy to see like, oh, man, there's 4 really good teams right now. I think USC is really good, Washington's really good, and Oregon is really good. All right, now Oregon still has that loss, but granted, it was to Georgia, and as I've told you before, like Georgia is so far above everybody else, like you kind of get that, you understand. And then Utah is really good. But could it be 5? Friday night, we see UCLA play Washington in the Rose Bowl. Could it be 5? Really good teams? Do we really think that we're going to have a Pac-12 champ that doesn't have at least a loss, maybe 2? Wouldn't you consider that chaos? I consider that chaos. The Pac-12 is heading for an epic year where they have really good teams and they're deep at the top for the first time in like 5 or 6 years. And it's not going to matter. Because if they lose, and certainly if they lose twice and they have a champion with 2 losses, they're going to be left out of the college football playoff. It's maddening. It's maddening. Big 12, similar. There's not an easy matchup in the Big 12 this year. 1 to 10, all difficult. Anybody can beat anybody. Just ask Oklahoma. They just got beat by Kansas State. None of those teams are going to be able to separate themselves out from the rest. I know Oklahoma State right now looks like they're the undefeated. They're the team that went to the Big 12 championship a year ago. They've got the coach that has been there the longest, so on and so forth. They've got to go and have a Big 12 championship game rematch against Baylor this week. That's not a very easy game. I still think OU and Texas are the most talented teams. They're going to be in this until the end. Baylor's the defending champ. They're going to be in this. And oh, by the way, Kansas is the 4th best scoring offense in the country and has a strength of record of 6. So this is not going to be easy for the Big 12. And what are they going to get for having a great year as a conference and a deep year and maybe having the conference that is the deepest and best conference top to bottom in America? Guess what they're going to get? Good for you. Your champ is going to get to go to the Sugar Bowl and play the 3rd-placed SEC team that doesn't go to the playoff in a meaningless exhibition game, which is a no-win probability or situation for you because you beat said SEC team and everyone's going to say, well, the SEC team didn't really care because they weren't in the playoff and you should beat them because they were the 3rd-ranked SEC team and, they didn't make in the playoff, so you couldn't beat the top 2 guys. And then if you lose that game, then they're going to puff their chests out and they're going to chant SEC and we're going to just continue to perpetuate this narrative that that's the best conference when really the Big 12 might be top to bottom the best conference in America this year. They might not be that at the top end, and I certainly am not saying that any of those teams are going to go win the national championship, but wouldn't it be great for both of these conferences if they were able to beat themselves up, yes, but still have a clearly defined path to the playoff? Come on. Expand the playoff as quickly as possible. I mean it. It's going to be so much better for college football, and this is evidence of that. The Big 12 is going to be a madhouse this year. I think the Pac-12 probably is as well. I don't know who's coming out of those conferences. I have no idea. That's the best part. We have a really good idea that Alabama and Georgia are going to be in Atlanta playing for the SEC championship game. All due respect to Kentucky and Tennessee, those teams are not beating Georgia. They just aren't. All due respect to Texas A&M, that ain't happening. Should have lost last week to Arkansas. Meanwhile, in the Big Ten, Ohio State seems pretty clearly better than everybody right now, in particular after the way that Michigan struggled at times against Maryland and after watching Ohio State just throttle the Badgers. We need this expansion so badly. I don't know who's coming out of these conferences. It's going to be complete chaos, and the team that does make it out of that chaos deserves a clearly defined path to the postseason. Period. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College football on Fox.